bite. Ooh, there's a takedown. I just got done mowing the lawn. It's super hot. I think I've been complaining about that a lot lately. But yeah, it's like 95 degrees right now, I think. You know, after working, mowing the lawn, I just don't feel like going fishing today. I'm gonna try to make a different kind of video. I guess I never really did a gear overview or like a walkthrough of my setups and things like that. I figured since today's super hot, I'm gonna do like a kayak walkthrough video. I'll talk about my setups, maybe talk about how I got into kayak fishing in the first place. Just gonna try something different, something a little bit more informative. It's not really my usual type of video, so it's gonna be a little learning curve. It's probably not the most informational video on earth when it comes to kayak setups and whatnot, but this is my take and this is what I've done, and it's more or less what worked for me. So I guess just a little intro on how I got into kayak fishing. I've been doing it for like 5 or 6 years. I was fascinated by it, I want to say like 6-7 years ago, but financially I wasn't ready to take the plunge yet. I know there's cheap kayaks you go out and buy, but I wanted something a little bit nicer. But I didn't know what type of kayak I wanted. When you're talking sit on top versus sit in, you know, sit in kayak is exactly what it sounds like. You sit inside the kayak. But I know I wanted something sit on top. Why sit on top? You just have more range of motion. Everything's more open. It's easier to wrangle fish in. You know, if you get a decent sized fish, you just grab the fish, throw them in. I guess you can do that on a sit in, but you know, that fish could be like way up in there, then you gotta go digging around for it. But with a sit on top, it's just easier to wrangle fish. Everything's more open. Another point about things being more open is there's usually more places where you can mount stuff on a sit on top versus a sit in, and you just sit higher on a sit on top. That can be a good or bad thing. You're higher up off the water, which gives you a better vantage point, and then you cast a little bit farther because you're in a higher position. The downside of that is it's a little bit more tippy. I've never tipped the kayak in like the 5 or 6 years I've been doing it. Not unintentionally. I've intentionally flipped a few times just so I can practice getting back in and out of the kayak, which is something everybody should do, even especially for someone like me that is a terrible swimmer. So yeah, those are the main points of why I like to sit on top over a sit in. Sit on top does have its cons too. Usually they're heavier, so because they're made out of more plastic, and more plastic costs more money. Those are just some things to consider. So with my criteria made up in my head, I was just doing some research online, and I ended up deciding on a Wilderness Systems Tarpon 100. It's a 10-foot set on top. I think I went on eBay and found some like angling bundle. It came with paddles, rod holders. I can't remember everything that it came with, but it just bundled extra stuff, and then you get a little bit more value out of that. I liked it. It worked perfect for me. I didn't have a truck at the time. I had a little subcompact, little hatchback. I just ended up buying roof racks for it and then getting a cradle. I ended up moving away from the cradle because it was just easier to put it on top of the racks than putting foam down, strapping it to the top of that. Yeah, it wasn't the lightest kayak, but it wasn't super heavy. You know, I could put it up there myself, strap it down. It wasn't too big. So I had that kayak for, I want to say 4 years, maybe. Yeah, I want to say about 4 years. And then I thought it was about time to upgrade. You know, I own a Hobie now, but a Hobie wasn't my first choice of kayaks to get. When I was researching, the Wilderness Systems Radar was just announced, or it just launched, and they announced a pedal drive. I know I wanted some kind of pedal drive because that's like the next step, I guess, from going from a regular kayak. I kind of hate the saying, but being hands-free is a game changer. At least for the type of fishing I do. I like to troll on lakes a lot, so just being able to cast out, drink a drink with one hand, hold the rod with my other hand, and just navigate with my feet, or propel myself with my feet. And then you don't have to worry about, you know, setting the rod down, trying to paddle, doing this switcheroo stuff all the time. Being hands-free was the big thing for me when I was upgrading. So I was researching, and I liked Wilderness Systems as a brand because that's what I came from. And then they launched this new kayak, the Radar 115, and I was like, you know what, this thing's pretty dang cool. And they announced a pedal drive system, I think even a trolling motor that you put in there. So I was intrigued by all that. But as I was doing more and more research, you know, Hobie, I came across the Hobies. Everybody knows what a Hobie is, I think, pretty much. If you think kayaks that you use your feet, I think everybody knows Hobies, kind of like the pioneers in that field. It just came down to comparing the pedal drives. I was looking at the Wilderness System ones. The pedal drive is it's got a prop. With the Hobie ones, got like fins that go like this. Yeah. You know, the prop's good for like instant reverse. That's the thing that the prop has over the fins from a Hobie drive is the instant reverse. But the more research I did, the more I was leaning towards the Hobie. I guess some of those factors were, so this was like a new kayak, new pedal drive system. It looked kind of clunky to me. It was untested too. And the Hobies, you know, they've been doing the pedal drive thing for, I don't even know when they first started having the pedal drives, but like years, maybe like a decade before I ended up purchasing one. They're on like their second or third revision of it. That's what the Wilderness System had going against it. It was a new kayak, new pedal drive system, so they were untested. The kayak itself was cheaper than an Outback, which is what I have now. The Radar by itself, no pedal drive, was like $1,100, and then the pedal drive system was also another $1,100. So right there, that's the same price as a Hobie Outback at the time. I think right now they're like $2,700 or something, which is crazy. If the kayak stayed the same price and the pedal drive system was like half, let's say $500, I think I would have easily went with the Wilderness Systems. No, the Hobie just seemed more appealing to me. The reasons why I went with the Hobie is Hobie's like one of those big name, the big dog in town, so to speak. The Outback was out on the market for I don't even know how long. Yeah, the pedal drive system was on their third iteration or something, so their stuff was tried and true already, and the pricing was the same. I think another thing is the shallow water aspect of the fins, because with the Mirage drive, you just gotta kick your feet like this, and then the fins come up, like kind of like that, up to the hull, versus the Wilderness System one where you had to like push some kind of release, and then pop the pedals up. I know it's probably not that big of a deal, but it's just one more thing to think about. So this is like the first generation of the 180 Mirage drive. I think you can tell by it's got the straight crank arms. I think the newer ones got like curved ones, so you get better leverage or something. For those that don't know, this is how it works. So you just kick. When you kick like this, the fins are like, there it goes. That's how it moves you through the water. And with this one, you go forward and backwards. Like the earlier drives, you could only go forward. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, see, they turn around, or if you want to go back forward, there you go. But now, like the technology with pedal drives, they got ones that kick up automatically when you bump into something. For Hobie, and I don't know if Wilderness Systems has something like that, but I know one of the other brands does. You know, the drive will pop up because you bump into rocks, you're gonna ruin some pedal drives, and those things aren't cheap. So it seems like I've just been like glorifying Hobie. I love that kayak. I think I made the right call, but a couple cons: those pull tabs. Hate those dang pull tabs on the to go reverse. Well, my biggest gripe with this drive is the cables that you use to pull the forward and reverse. I went out, they were fine the first year. Then I think it was the second year that I owned this kayak. They both broke on the same day. I got it all on video too. Like I went to go pull this. Are you kidding me? Cable snapped right off. I couldn't go reverse anymore. I still could, I just had to reach down and pull this thing to go reverse. Then maybe like half an hour later, I was just trying to switch from reverse to forward. Go to pull the forward, snap. Oh, there goes the other one. Now the other one broke. So stupid. Why? Yeah, so that was really annoying. I tried reaching out to Hobie, never got back to me. So I ended up reaching out to Benjamin over at RoboHawk. He's a local Iowa company, and he's handmade cable pulls, and never had a problem since. I think I got some curling, but that's probably not a big deal. I mean, they're never gonna break. They're made out of paracord. Paracord, that's the word. So they'll never break. But yeah, I was real disappointed. I never heard anything back from Hobie. Like, they didn't even direct me like where to go buy more. You know, I was like, whatever. Put a bad taste in my mouth, let's put it that way. A big con for Hobies is they're expensive. I mean, like I said earlier, they're like the big dogs in town. So yeah, most brands are, I think, trying to beat them. As a business, they're pretty dang smart. Like, they got a grip on their market. You won't find a Hobie, you won't find sales or like discounts, even free shipping for Hobie stuff, because they got a grip on their market. You know, from a business perspective, that's awesome. From like a consumer perspective, they dictate the price, they set the prices, and there isn't really much budging. And then there's the Hobie loyalists that defend everything that they do. See, it comes back to those stupid pull tabs. they'll defend anything that Hobie does, and they, you know, justify all the crazy prices. I know, like, R&D costs a lot of money. There's people who are like, oh well, you know, it's just a premium brand, you know, you just gotta pay, that's the price you gotta pay to have one. I'm like, sure, from a business standpoint that's cool, but from like a consumer standpoint, it's alright. I think I'm kind of over my rant. So one last thing, downside of all the pedal drives is they're getting more and more complicated, like getting more parts, like the new drives. I think the Hobies, they got the kick up fins, and then even ones that like spin around so you go in any direction. Like, they're getting so complicated. I don't even know how much that drive costs. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. I'm finding like Mirage Drive 180 standard fins, $850. I don't remember it being that expensive. Well, maybe the flip up fins are standard now, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, this stuff ain't cheap. Oh, and by the way, I bought mine. It was an older model. I think bought it in 2018. It was a 2016 model, so it was an older model. I saved like a few $100s. So if you can do it that way or get them used, I wouldn't pay full price for a Hobie. Your money, do what you want. Yeah, that's all the rambling I got. We'll just go and check out the Kayak. All right, guys. So here is the Kayak. Do a quick little walk around. Yeah, I don't really have my garage set up like how I want to yet, but it's a work in progress. So that was a quick walk around first. I guess we'll start up front here. So this is the main hatch. Don't really got too much going on there. It's just a hatch. Put stuff in there. I'll throw my life vest, batteries. Like batteries for the GoPro. GoPro goes on this mount here. I don't have the GoPro mount on there right now, but this is a phone mount. I normally wouldn't have this here, but I was doing live streaming stuff, and I just repurposed this mount to hold my phone. Coming over here, I don't know all the nautical terms, so I'll just call it the left side of the boat. Here's my paddle. I got it set into offset position right now, which I normally don't do. It's just the regular Hobie paddle. I put a tape on the paddle here, right there. It goes 26 inches both ways. So if I need to measure a fish that's over 26, I just do some math. 26 this way plus whatever, how many inches on that side. Got one Scotty Rod Holder here. I like these rod holders because it's very secure. I've thought about putting the ram ball here, but with the ram ball, you just gotta imagine while you're paddling or trolling, and a fish takes that rod, it's gonna put torque going this way. How do you take them off? You turn them counterclockwise. it probably wouldn't take that big of a fish to put enough torque on it to spin that ball around, and then this is going to turn back and your rod's going to go flying. Got my life vest here. It is a Onyx, I don't know which one exactly. I always wear my life vest even when it's like 95 degrees outside like it is right now. What if I got any grass on my face? I might have grass on me because I just got done mowing the lawn. But I always wear my life vest. I wouldn't call myself a good swimmer. Some people might call me a bad swimmer actually. Even if I was a good swimmer, I'd probably wear it all the time. Worst case scenario, you get knocked unconscious. Being a good swimmer ain't gonna help you there. So I always wear my life vest. It gets annoying sometimes, but annoying is better than being dead. The Vantage 2 chair, I think. This is the chair that comes with the Outback. I got in the high position. I used to sit in the low position, but once I moved up high, I just found it's easier to fish in the high position. Got a rubber net here. I prefer the rubber over the nylon, because hooks get stuck in nylon, and once you get the hooks stuck in there, it's just a pain in the butt. These are less tangly. Tangly? Is that a word? I guess I'll talk about my anchor setup real quick. Alright, so this concoction I got going on here is my anchor setup. I rarely anchor, by the way. I think 90% of my kayaking, I never anchor. One, I always like to be on the move. A lot of the fishing I do is on the move. So I rarely ever anchor, but I do have it. The way I got this set up is, alright, the carabiner hooks up to the anchor trolley. That hooks up to this, the dive line. And if for whatever reason I need to unanchor real quick, pop this clip off, and then the anchor with this float, it's gonna keep that line up so I won't lose the line. I've lost the line before where I forgot to put the float on, and I unclipped, left, and then realized my anchor was gone. No, made it too deep. Uh-oh. Did I just throw away my... Oh my goodness. I did have the float on the anchor. What? Why was the float not on the anchor? And then from the dive line, it goes down to my 3-pound anchor. I got this set up kind of from Denny. I got it tied in 2 spots, one on the end down here. Then I got a loop up here. And then I zip tied that loop onto this. I think the point of the loop is no matter what angle you pull it at, that loop is free to swing around, and then if you put enough force, it's gonna pop that zip tie, and then you'll be lifting up your anchor upside down. That should work. I haven't had to break it off yet because, like I said, I don't anchor very much. And then what I like about this is, once you drop your anchor, 30 feet of anchor line just laying everywhere. You need some way to manage that line. What I like about this is this little spool. So you pull up your anchor, you got all this line everywhere. Let's see. Oh, spider. There's a spider. You just reel up your anchor line just like this. It's clean, not too complicated. It's better than trying to reel it up on a little spool or whatever by hand. Once you got your depth, it's got these notches and it'll lock the spool in place. Okay, going on to the back here. This is my angle cooler with the rod holders. You've probably seen these coolers around. A lot of people use the bait version. This doesn't have the bait stuff. I think the bait one has a netting and a bubbler in there, but this does not have that stuff. It's got rod holders though, which I like. I always take this with me whenever I go out because I put ice in here, drinks, snacks, and fish if I catch any fish and decide to keep some. We got a little flag. It's supposed to be red, but it's pretty pink right now. It's been out in the sun a few times. Our rear hatch, I don't really use this hatch very much. It's pretty small and you can't fit big items back here, and it's shallow too until you get way up in there. This is my minnow bucket. So as you can tell, it's a little it's more streamlined than your regular minnow bucket, so it's easier to pull through the water. Yeah, you'd be quite surprised how much drag a minnow bucket will put on you. That's why I decided to go with this more hydrodynamic bait bucket. I don't bring a lot of live bait with me. Well, not a lot of live fish like minnows, but it's there if I need it. And this here is my homemade rod holder. Just PVC with a T-elbow and a rod holder mounted onto the top. I like this because I got these whole these flush mounted rod holders or whatever they're called. I don't know, is that what they're called? these in-hole rod holders. You can have this at a lower angle. There you go. So you don't always want your rods sticking straight up. It just depends on how you want to position your rods. Because sometimes when I'm catfishing, I'll run 3 rods. It helps to change up the angle so you get them out at different distances. Let's see, anchor trolley for when I do anchor this thing. So we got 2 hoops here. And depending on which way you want to face and how the wind's blowing, like let's say you want to face a certain direction and the wind's blowing a different direction. And with this thing, you just hook the anchor, this clip here, and then you can move it either to the back, or to the front, depending on how you want to position the boat. So that's handy for that. But like I said, I don't really anchor that much. I do have a drift sock, but I have no idea where it's at. Basically, it slows you down if you're drifting too fast. I don't use it that much. I think I should have gotten a bigger drift sock, but meh. Oh yeah, the cart, the cheapest Amazon cart I could find. I think it was like 30 bucks, maybe like 45 for 2 of them. But the thing is, the wheels stink. They stink really bad. You gotta let them air out for a few days, and they'll lose air. So these are the ones that have no air. They're the full rubber tires. So I had 4 air tires, and they all ended up not being able to hold air. I think the rubber tires were like 10 bucks. So pretty cheap. I mean, they do the job. They're not the best carts out there. I mean, if you got the money, just fork over like 170 bucks for the Hobie one. I'm cheapish, I should say. Let's see, I got my fish finder. So it's a Lowrance Elite 5. It's got touch screen. It's got down imaging, regular graph, mapping, GPS. It has the capability for side imaging, but the way the hull's set up, the transducer would stick out at the bottom, and that means it'll bump and hit stuff, and I don't want to deal with all that. It's a pretty nice unit. I like it. It's got Wi-Fi, so you do over-the-air updates, or if I mark stuff on the kayak, I can sync it up with my phone. I go find that spot on the ice. Another ram mount here. I could put another one of these booms. That's what it's called, a boom, camera boom, so you get a different angle. I think I might do that. Kind of getting over the wearing the GoPro on my head when I'm in the kayak, because I hate changing batteries, so I wear a wire, and that wire gets kind of annoying. The wires go back in here, and then I got the battery down here in this hatch. Here's this little tackle tray. I don't really ever use it for anything. And then spare zip ties for the anchor. Throw my keys in there. Here's my battery box. Nothing fancy, just like a Walmart dry box. Lithium battery inside, and it's wired to this quick connect here. Well, let me turn this off real quick. Got this quick connect. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. Alright, anyways, battery died. This is the quick connector. So I got one here on the box. Right here, and this one goes from inside the kayak. It just makes connecting and unconnecting the battery easier. And then I got a few other things with this connector, so I just plug them in. My charger is set up like this, so I just plug this into a charger, or that into a charger I should say. Got a couple strips of Velcro on the bottom, then some strips of Velcro on here. It's not the cleanest setup, but it works, and it's nothing fancy. Random storage pockets, usually keep line, stringer, forceps, got a pair of scissors, fish grips. I like having fish grips on there because it just makes handling the fish a lot easier, a lot faster. So it's safer for the fish, safer for you. This is my first kind of video like this, walk around or walk through type of deal. I hope I got everything. Not sure if I did or not, but I hope to get the kayak out here soon. It's just been so dang hot. It was 4th of July weekend just recently, and I did not get out because once you get past 9 o'clock, it is way too hot. I shouldn't be doing too much partying this weekend, so hopefully I get the kayak out, barring no crazy weather. So that's gonna do it for this one. If you guys want to see more of this stuff, let me know. Like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.